A group of senators returned from the Arctic last week, all members of the Senate Committee on National Security, Defense and Veterans Affairs. They went to see how prepared Canada is to defend its claims to the north and fend off threats that could challenge Canadian sovereignty. Senator Tony Dean took part in that tour. He joins us now. Senator Dean, thank you for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Good to chat with you.
Now, Arctic sovereignty, it's of course an issue that's been getting a bit more attention in recent years, but the Kremlin's illegal invasion of Ukraine, that really is giving the issue greater urgency. Having toured the region, how well equipped is this country to enforce sovereignty in the north?
Well, I think we're doing well, Michael, but we can certainly do a lot better. We know that there are a number of threats to the Arctic. Those have been described as those that are direct threats to the Arctic, those that are in the Arctic, and those that are likely to be through the Arctic. Certainly climate change is a threat to the Arctic. It's opening up waterways, as you know. It's going to affect traditional hunting and fishing grounds for the Inuit, and it is also creating the opportunity for other states, some of whom are not friendly to us, to reach into the Arctic for mineral and fishing exploration. And we know that Russia is an Arctic state and is in fact very close to us in the Arctic, and they have been building up significant defense infrastructure there, submarine bases and airfields and things of that nature.
I also want to talk about, a part of ensuring sovereignty is Canada's participation in NORAD when it comes to the Arctic, and the end of the Cold War
Yes.
may have taken priority away from that defense line. But where do things stand there? The government is promising to make a huge reinvestment, but just how badly is investment needed into NORAD?
There are very significant needs in terms of new defence spending, and I think the government has recognised that. There's an initial multi-billion-dollar spend in the next 6 years, and a much larger, almost $40 billion spend over the next 20 years. And I think that covers everything from basic infrastructure, from airfields, runways, certainly radar technology. We are now maintaining old radar technology that will need to be replaced as a matter of urgency, and certainly as we see the development of a new generation of hyperkinetic cruise missiles that may not be a threat directly to the Arctic, but might meet that criteria of being a threat that goes through the Arctic.
So how important will your fact-finding mission be for the government to inform its policy going forward in the north?
Well, very significant and impactful, I hope. When our committee was structured afresh in the new Parliament, this was the number one choice in terms of priorities for everyone on our committee. This was pre-invasion of Russian invasion of Ukraine. I think that everybody on that committee was aware going in of the fragilities of the Arctic, of the fragilities of our defences, and the muscularity of Russia in terms of starting to build out its military infrastructure in its part of the Arctic. So Canada's relationship with its US colleagues is hugely important, as is investment in our own defense and security infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Less than a minute here, Senator, but you touched upon it earlier. I want to build upon it now because, of course, when NORAD came to be, when Canada looked north to the Arctic, not a lot of respect was afforded to Inuit leadership and knowledge. How does that get addressed in the process to come?
Well, let me say this first and foremost. We met with Inuit leaders across the Arctic, and they are an impressive group of leaders. There are lots of young leaders, both in terms of on the business side and infrastructure development side, they have appropriately an attitude and expectation of nothing about us without us. They are asking for consultation on all of the investments that are being made because, of course, they're interested in the military and defense and security infrastructure, but the social and economic infrastructure that would be byproducts of that, and very important byproducts of that. We're talking about roads, we're talking about clean energy, we're talking about clean water, and we're definitely talking about much better and more resilient broadband. So there is an intense interest, a close eye on what decisions are being made in Ottawa, and a very significant expectation for engagement and voice in the process of how those investments are made and where they are made.
Senator, really appreciate the time today. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Michael.